All right, let's dive in. There's a big deadline coming up for a key piece of U.S. economic policy.
That's right.
Today, we're looking at a Reuters report. It just came out, May 16th, about the Trump tax cuts from 2017. Looks like a showdown is brewing.
Absolutely. This Reuters piece, it really highlights that several important parts of that tax law, they're set to expire end of 2025.
Right, end of next year. It's coming up fast.
It really is a critical moment.
So our goal here is to, try and understand what's actually going on. What are the main arguments? Who thinks what? And, well, what's really at stake?
And the core thing, like the report says, is just that date. It's unavoidable. These tax provisions will expire unless Congress acts.
So the big question isn't if they expire, but how Washington handles it.
Exactly. How they react.
And this is where it gets interesting. The Republicans who passed these cuts, well, they don't seem to agree on what to do now.
No, they don't. The report points to a real split in the party.
What do you think is the main sticking point there? Why aren't they on the same page?
Well, I think it really boils down to attention.
Yeah.
On one hand, you have Republicans who really want to keep these tax policies going. They see them as pro-growth.
Right. The Trump era policy.
Exactly. But then you have others, maybe more traditional fiscal conservatives, who are increasingly worried about the national debt.
Ah, okay. So deficit concerns versus keeping the cuts.
Precisely. Some think extending the cuts is vital for the economy. Others are looking at the deficit numbers and thinking maybe this expiration is a chance to make some adjustments or push for different kinds of reforms.
So it's not just a simple yes, extend or no, don't. There are different priorities clashing within the same party.
Exactly right. It's much more nuanced than just party lines. You've got these internal debates really shaping the whole situation.
Okay, and what about the Democrats? They weren't fans of the 2017 cuts to begin with, right?
Generally, no. Their main argument back then was that the cuts disproportionately helped corporations and wealthier people.
So their strategy now might be,
Well, given that history, it seems pretty likely many Democrats would prefer to just let these specific cuts expire.
let them lapse.
Yeah, they could argue it makes the tax system fairer, maybe frees up money for other things, or they might come forward with completely different tax proposals altogether.
Now, let's talk practical impact. The Reuters report specifically mentions individual income tax cuts expiring.
Yes, that's crucial.
So this isn't just some abstract debate about corporate taxes. This could directly affect the finances of, well, many of you listening.
It absolutely could. For a lot of households, the expiration of those individual cuts could mean, paying more in taxes starting in 2026.
Right.
A tangible hit to the budget for some.
Right, a noticeable change. So zooming out a bit, what are the potential economic ripples if the cuts expire versus if they're extended?
It's the classic trade-off discussion, really.
Mm.
If the cuts expire, some analysts think, it might slightly slow down consumer spending, maybe economic growth dips a bit. But on the flip side, it would likely help reduce the national debt over time. Extending the cuts could keep stimulating the economy, but almost certainly adds to the debt.
So those focused on debt reduction might accept a bit of slowdown, while those focused on growth worry about that exact slowdown.
That's the tension. No easy answers there.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up. The main takeaway is the 2017 Trump tax cuts have this expiration date looming large at the end of 2025.
Yep, it forces a decision.
Republicans are internally divided on what to do, extend, modify, let lapse. Democrats, likely still opposed, might see an opportunity.
And critically, those individual income tax cuts are part of the package set to expire.
Which means real economic consequences for individuals and the broader economy, depending on what happens.
It's a complex mix politically and economically. Lots of uncertainty.
Definitely. So maybe a final thought for you, our listeners. It might be worth considering how these expiring tax rules could directly impact your own financial situation.
Yeah, what could the different outcomes actually mean for your wallet and for the economy we all live in?
Something to keep a close eye on as we get closer to that 2025 deadline.